G'day mates, in today's video I want to kick off talking about the EU Cash Cup. This was Hen and Queasy's first tournament together so far this season and they won it on 211 points, 6 matches played, 1 win with an average elims of over 4.3 and an average placement of 7th. Just an insane match history for their first tournament together. If you guys didn't see, Hen couldn't play last week, so Queasy played with I believe Noah Riley, so this was Hen and Queasy's first showing together and they won by almost 40 points and they looked insanely good doing it. They weren't doing any cheesy strats. They were just playing high ground really consistently, but they weren't one-dimensional. If other teams aggressed or if there was already people established on high ground, they played their mid-ground layers perfectly, but most of their insane games did come from the high ground. There were a few teams missing from this lobby who I think will give them a good run for their money on high ground, or at least make it a little bit harder in future tournaments. Pinkin and Nas didn't make it, Tayson and Thomas didn't make it, but still, you cannot take away from them how insanely well they placed. Now, second place is also an interesting one because this is Mustache and Malibuca on 172 points. Now, Malibuca has earned or placed first or second in so many tournaments now, and as you guys know, he can't earn money from it. I talked about this in a video a little while ago. With the new restrictions put on from the US government on Russian banks, the Epic is not able to pay Russian players at the moment. They're not saving the money to pay them later. A lot of people seem to think that is the case. Any money Malibuca earns at the moment goes to no one. He does not get it. He is basically playing so Mustache can still earn money, so he can still improve as a player and build out his brand, and just because he loves it. Until now, Malibuca is moving, and this is very exciting news for a lot of people because obviously he's still going to be popping off, he's still going to be dominating, but people want him to get the money he deserves. Malibuca actually flew out today as of me making this video. He said, I've been playing Fortnite in Russia for more than 3 years and now I have to move. I probably played my last cup today from home and now I'm getting ready for flight tomorrow to Serbia. It sounds sad, but all the tweets that I've seen now, he seems super excited and happy, tweeting out, that's crazy that Fortnite changed my life so much that I'm now moving at the age of 16. He's posted a bunch of updates on his Twitter of him in the airport, him flying, so it looks like he will be in Serbia shortly, and I believe this means he will be able to now get a Serbian bank account, register it in Serbia, and he should be getting paid by Epic. It's a complicated situation. I don't know exactly how all that works, but I'm assuming he's moving for the point of getting paid. So super exciting for Malibuca. He's still going to keep dominating. It changes nothing for you or I just watching the tournaments, but it changes a lot for Malibuca, and I'm super happy to see it because he is very clearly going to win more money this season. They have already been absolutely dominating. Malibuca has actually overtaken Tayson now as the highest PR earned player of all time right now, which is just ridiculous that someone could overtake Tayson's dominant. That is how ridiculous Malibuca has been the last few seasons. So very proud of Malibuca. In third place, we have Chapix and Zandy. Now, I love this one because Chapix obviously is Chapix. He's the GOAT. You guys all know about him. But picking up Zandy was a decision that confused a lot of people. Zandy is a good player, but a lot of people not thinking he is on Chapix level. This was similar to when Centered picked up Cold, and we know how well that went. I'll talk about later in this video exactly how well that went. But Chapix and Zandy did really well. Third place, 164 points. They did have a few games in the middle where they went a little bit off the rails. They had a 21st, 27th, and 27th, but they had 2/3 and a 5th with high elims as well. So this team showing a lot of promise. In fourth, we had Lodix, Buka, and Bubak. In fifth, we had Seti and Kami. They're insanely consistent right now. Rifler and Marion, who really impressed last season at the end with the qualifiers, fizzled out a bit towards the grands, but honestly starting off really good this season. Vino and Aqua, who I expected to potentially win the tournament. They did really well last week when contested by Tayson and Thomas, but now uncontested, they still did well. Like a 7th place is crazy, but it looks like being uncontested wasn't as strong for them as I thought it was going to, but they still played very well. We had Karma and Kylie, Floiz and Mappy. Now this one's interesting because Floiz and Mappy were contested. They were contested at Coney by none other than the OCE exports, Vortex and Suns. They won 4 of the 6 games, and in those games, they played really well. They got a 9 elim 2nd, a 7 elim 10th, 6 elim 30th, and then their last game was a 4 elim 27th. They only went down 2 games in the 4th and 5th game, but when they went down, Vortex and Suns, with only 2 games where they made it off spawn, got a 9 elim 6th, a 10 elim 2nd, and placed 14th. they placed 14th with only 2 games technically. So while it's annoying to see Vortex and Suns contested, and Flowies and Mappy, I love Flowies in my stream all the time, really good dude. He seems to not want to contest the OCE guys. Sad to see that both the teams are doing so well when they make it off, but they just happen to be contesting each other, but showing that the OCE guys have major talent. In 2 games off spawn, they come 14th. That is ridiculous. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think a lot of people are very impressed to see how the OCE guys are playing right now. In EU, Suns has now earned in 3 of the 4 tournaments he's played in, and Vortex has earned in 2 of the 4. Absolutely ridiculous kickoff to EU for them. We also had Vico's team, Axe Force, Floki, Belusi. We had a lot of really good teams, but so far, EU is looking interesting. We have our dominant teams kind of, making a claim for themselves, placing top 10 consistently. But when you have big teams missing like Tayson and Thomas, Pink and Anas, who are going to make grand finals, it's hard to see exactly how everyone's falling. Moving on to NA East, and this is why I didn't record the video yesterday. NA East got delayed by a day because of Twitch rivals, which I will be talking about in a minute, but NA East finished with an absolute nail biter. If you look at the leaderboard, it doesn't look like it, but Colden centered in first by 239 points. Over 40 points, almost 50 points clear of second. This one was a nail biter because they had a 4 elim 11th, 6 elim second, 5 elim second, 10 elim win, and 9 elim win in their first 5 games, and then went down on spawn in their 6th game. Unfortunately, Cole got taken out of the sky by Nani's team, who was dropping over near Bugle, who then rushed and managed to take Centered down as well. This then created what was a very scary situation for Centered and Cold, because they had some big teams on their tail. You had Miro and Booga, DJ Omzo, and Jamper and Dukes all within range to overtake them. They would have had to get a 10 elim win, but that is definitely not out of the realms of possibilities for the FNCS winners. DJ Omzo, who were playing phenomenally well, who got a 9 elim win and 6 elim win in their first 2 games, so showed they had the potential. And then Jamper and Duke's been playing insanely well, and Aegis Canada. Like, there was some big teams on their tail trying to catch up, but Cold and Centered held on to it. They got their back-to-back wins in the first 2 Cash Cups. Again, doing it from not an insane drop, just doing it from south side of Sleepy, and the same thing today, prioritizing the Lambo Chonka, just rotating through end games in the Lambo, saving as many mats as they can, and then using their mat superiority to just dominate low ground. Just Centered, picking perfect layers, him and Cold hitting all their shots, and that's why they're so good right now. They're honestly playing so ridiculously well. So many other teams focus on the mid and high ground, and Centered just running the low ground like he has for not even seasons, for years now. It was really good to see. Miro and Booga, obviously the reigning champs, their first Cash Cup together, because last week Miro wasn't champs in time, so they tried to get champs, tried to qualify and didn't quite qualify. So their first time here with a proper Cash Cup run, getting 191 points, coming in 2nd place. Really exciting to see from them. We had DJ Omzo in 3rd, who, like I said, kicked off the tournament ridiculously well on 190 points, just missing out on 2nd place. Jamper and Dukes in 4th on 183. Really good to see 2 high caliber players that have a lot of expectations around them popping off in this one. Aegis Canada, who did phenomenally well again, just a very aggressive height team. They're really giving DJ Omzo a run for their money on that high ground, because DJ Omzo first 2 games managed to take it off them, and they won the game because of it. Then we had Day and Clicks in 6th place. This was awesome to see, with a huge comeback at the end. The last half of the tournament, by far their best. 7 elim 8th, 3 elim 5th, and a 7 elim 3rd. Then we had Ryzen Larson. Now, this isn't an actual team because Threats is currently in Europe doing some content for Man City, so Larson is filling in for Threats. So still really good to see a team that isn't even a real team come in 7th. Illiston Jack in 8th. The EU, Tripper N and Thomas HD in 9th. It was interesting to see, because Tayson and Thomas are both in the finals here, but Tayson played with Chapix and Tripper played with Thomas. No, Thomas and Tayson haven't split. It's just a lot of the times Tayson will choose to play in other region Cash Cups with other teammates. He's said this a lot of the times. Tayson doesn't like to get too comfortable or too friendly or play too much with his teammates, because he feels like it then lowers your expectations. It doesn't make you perform as well. You get too friendly and you kind of just get too comfortable. So I'm guessing that is why Tayson chooses not to play with Thomas even in the NA Cups, but they both made it. Tripper and Thomas did really well. And then in 10th, we had Spade and Chimp, our FNCS runner-ups. And honestly, the NA East finals were really exciting. EU was super stacked. It gave me a few more concerns for this new surge change. The lobbies were just really stacked in the early and mid game, to the point where it almost kind of does get a bit boring at times with very few teams fighting. NA wasn't the case though. Whether it was because of all these EU teams in there contesting and a lot of stuff going crazy behind the scenes, NA was very exciting to watch. Moving on to NA West. Now, I couldn't actually watch NA West, but I went back, I looked at the VODs, looked at the leaderboard, and of course, we have Fabs and Snacky popping off in first on 239, which means Snacky has won the first 2 cash cups on NA West, but Snacky played with Reet last week, now playing with Fabs, which is dispelling a lot of rumors, which I myself was talking about as well, of whether Snacky and Reet were actually going to duo together, because Reet and Rex haven't been performing that well. Snacky and Reet won their first cash cup together, but Snacky just proven that he can do it with Fabs as well. He loves playing with Fabs, and honestly, I think looking at this, he's going to stick with Fabs because they won by over 50 points with their 6 matches, 2 wins, average elims of 6.17 and an average placement of 11th. Doesn't sound as good. It's because their game 2, they went down on spawn. Every other game was ridiculous. A first, third, and a first, just insane from them. Degen and Iomzo, who again almost popped off, or did pop off on NA East, but almost took it on NA West as well. Just again with really good high ground games. Their 6 elim win, a 1 elim second, and a 4 elim 6, just really cementing them for this one. Then we had Jagvir and Rise. Rise is just always the silent warrior. I feel like not enough people talk about how consistent Rise is, especially with different teammates. He just plays with different people and places every time. It is honestly ridiculous. We had Baka and Delta, CZR and Merciless, Thoric, Noisy and Dragon, Nani and Pump, Cadenox and 40R, Qua and Jack, and then Beast and Tautai. As I touched on earlier in the video, it wasn't just the cash cups on in the last few days. We did have another Twitch Rivals. This was Elixir's Twitch Rivals, originally set to be 1 game no building, 4 games building, and had some pretty exciting rules. There was no SMGs allowed, there was no egg launcher, there was no tanks, and no armored battle bus. This had me very excited to see how this plays out in the regular building game mode, like Elixir did as well. Unfortunately, despite Twitch and Epic saying that after last week's Twitch Rivals issues, they would have a fix for this week, Elixir was asked if they could go to 5 games no building because the servers can't handle the building in customs with how laggy it gets, with how stacked the lobbies are. So really disappointing to see a lot of money go into a tournament and someone get reached out to make the tournament how they wanted to, and unfortunately they don't get to run it the way they want because Epic still for some reason hasn't given these big tournament organizers access to run their tournaments on tournament servers. I'm not a developer, I say that all the time. I don't know how this would work to give certain people priority access on customs, but there has to be a way to do it, or just put the tournament in the compete tab and then have everyone who is available queue into it. Like, there has to be a way to do it. Either way, it was still really fun to watch. It was cool to see how no building plays out with those custom rules, especially with the no tanks. Having no SMGs was a bit of an issue because players would obviously drop, they wouldn't have any weapon, they'd find an SMG and they couldn't use it, but that's always going to be the way with these wacky tournaments, and I don't think that's the reason why Tfue won. I don't want to take it away from them. Tfue is, I believe, by far the best no build player right now. His decision making, his aim, he's just very good at this game mode. You partner him with Scoped and Okus, they are going to dominate, but they only did just win. They won their last game to clutch it up, beating out Team Reet by 4 points. No surprise that Reet, Arkham, and Epic Whale, an FNCS winning team, even in no build game mode, is going to be a force to be reckoned with. They got 161 points. Reet almost clutched up solo in the last game. It was super exciting to see for them. We had Team Prospering in third, which is Prospering with OMG at Shadow, OMG, Me Too, and Shadow. We had Team Colazo in fourth, and then Team Chap in fifth. It was exciting to watch. It was really fun. It seems like less and less people are streaming and content creators aren't playing the no build game mode as much, but the hype is most definitely still there for the tournaments. It is cool to watch them. Twitch Rivals does seem to have an issue with 15-minute long breaks between the games, and they did have to requeue, I think, 3 or 4 games. So the 5-game tournament did take roughly 4 hours, which it does dampen the mood a little bit, but I don't want that to be a reflection of the no build tournaments because they have been super exciting to watch. That's just what comes along with a tournament when they want to run it with really big breaks. Fortnite just announced the 2 new Lightning Cups. As you guys see, these just kind of random fun tournaments they put out with no prize pool to test things and just put more tournaments on. I love to see them. One is pretty stock standard. It's just a 0 build Lightning Cup. It's duos. It's on April 21st, so nothing crazy there, but a lot of people love these no building tournaments to compete in with their friends and just have some fun, so I'm excited for that one. But the one that's on in only a few days, we have the Architect Lightning Cup, which is April 19th, and that word probably rings a bell. If you're an OG Fortnite player, you know what the Architect Cup was. And that is exactly what this Lightning Cup is. It is the cup where you will have the ability to edit your opponent's builds. This is a tournament that came out years and years ago, one of the original pop-up cups in Fortnite, and it was as bad as you can imagine when people hardly knew how to edit. This is going to be hilarious. It's exactly what the Lightning Cups look like they're going to be, just a whole bunch of dumb fun. It's a duos tournament, April 19th. You are going to be able to edit all builds in the game, yours and your opponent's. This is going to be hilarious. People are going to put down a wall and they're instantly just going to get window edit shot through. It does have a whole bunch of ping issues because it seems to be once you place the wall, whoever just clicks edit first and has better ping is just going to grab it every single time. So if you're a high ping player, this is not going to be a super fun one for you, but maybe if you can catch people off guard and outsmart them, you don't have to take the wall. It'll already be your wall. So there's going to be some crazy strats. I think it's going to be hilarious. I'm almost definitely going to either play in it or watch it just for the meme of what it is, I believe. But I want to let you guys know they were on, and it looks like Epic is sticking to these Lightning Cups. It seems like a lot of these are kind of replacing the skin cups. So it's awesome we're getting more tournaments, but I would love to see some kind of a reward for these Lightning Cups, just some kind of small cosmetic, whether it be a gun wrap, just something that isn't a spray or an emoticon, just something to, you know, show off for playing these tournaments. It's cool they're doing them. I love the tournaments, but just a smaller reward, maybe even like a pin, maybe something to just show on your profile, maybe something that you can like show off in game. I don't know, please, just something here. But again, really excited to see the Lightning Cups. The rules are looking fun. If we could start getting some really fun LTMs like the floor is lava or laser beams game mode coming back in one of these Lightning Cups, I would love to see it. But this Architect Cup is going to be hilarious. All right, guys, that does it for another video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.